Now, look, we were talking a lot yesterday about those flood warnings, weren't we? And I know there's a big change coming later in the week, but I think you're going to focus just on the next, 48 hours, see what's happening?
Yeah, I'll give you a little heads up as well as into next week too, but certainly at the moment, again, real risk of flooding in places through today. We've had a thoroughly wet night, 1 to 2 inches of rain across some western parts of England and Wales. It's up to 50 millimetres in a few spots, but whilst we've got the winds increasing for many through the day, many of you actually turn a little bit brighter. So it's a getting better kind of Saturday for the vast majority. But before we move on, just a reminder that there are those flood warnings still in place, close to 90 at the moment. They have dropped since yesterday. I think they'll rise up a little bit as the rivers start to respond to today's rain. And I've got some lovely space imagery coming for you later, actually, which will make you sit up. But I'll explain about the weather first of all. Very good morning to you. Not a great start if you're just about to draw the curtains open, or you already have done so. It is thoroughly wet out there for the vast majority.
What a picture that is.
Morning.
That stopped you in your tracks, didn't it?
Yes, I hadn't turned. I should have turned sooner. That's amazing.
It's absolutely stunning. Loads of them came in last night from the north of Scotland before the cloud rolled in. Unbelievable aurora last night, visible to the naked eye as well. So highly charged particles coming out of the sun, interacts with oxygen and nitrogen in our atmosphere, and it produces this array of colours. Green, when you see that, it's because of the oxygen. The red is oxygen as well, but higher up in the atmosphere. But we see the pinks and the purples. That is where those charged particles interact with nitrogen. Unbelievably stunning scenes. There could be a chance of seeing some tonight with some clearer skies around as well. Not so this morning for clear skies, though. It is, if you already looked out the window, thoroughly cloudy, dark, wet and windy. No, not enjoying the weather this morning, it has to be said. It was very wet on my journey in. Lots of puddles around at the moment, you can see here in Pembrokeshire. Some flooding as well. In fact, flood warnings have been going up in number since I started the shift this morning. We're now up to 90 in England, 7 across Wales as well. The flood warnings holding fairly steady, though, in Scotland. It's because across Western England and Wales, we saw up to 50 millimetres of rain fall through the night, especially on the hills.
Not as good as that image behind you.
Yes, yeah, from the beauty of the Lake District to the stunning skies above Scotland yesterday evening. What a shot. It's almost out of this world, isn't it, this one? This is the Aurora Borealis, of course. It was a great evening for it before the cloud rolled in across parts of Scotland. Aurora Borealis is basically charged particles from the sun fired towards the Earth, and then it interacts with the oxygen and nitrogen in the atmosphere around us, and depending on what it's interacting with depends on the colours. The greens here is oxygen in the atmosphere, and the red's oxygen as well, higher up in the atmosphere. But when you start to see the pinks and the purples, another stunning shot on the coast of Aberdeenshire, this is when it's the nitrogen that is being excited by those charged particles which are flying through the atmosphere. But certainly an amazing night last night. You probably could see it again tonight in the north of Scotland when you see some clear skies at times, and there will be, but it will be much colder out there tonight than it was last night. I wish I could say it was as colourful this morning out there for you as you start your Saturday, but it's very grey, and as this scene from Leicestershire behind me shows, pretty wet as well. But it's an improving kind of day. The rain will ease for many of you, and it will turn brighter with some sunshine at times, but it is going to be quite windy, particularly in the south this morning.
How about the weather?
Oh, the weather, shall we? Saturday morning, a bit grim out there this morning for some of you, admittedly. It is a getting better kind of day, I promise you. But out there, some flooding after the heavy rainfall across Cornwall through the night. We saw around 50 millimetres of rain, if not more, fall in the hills of Western England and Wales.
Look, Matt's waiting to do the weather. You can't keep him hanging there.
We can wait.
No, carry on.
Carry on.
Carry on.
How's the other leg, is it?
Yeah, I'll switch the other leg. It's that cheating.
And
What's Matt laughing at?
there's nothing to laugh at here.
No, it's
Nothing to see here, Matt.
You're going to be
It's normal exercises.
even more honed. I think we'll leave him, Mike, carrying that on doing that. He's not going to stop,
Cut
are you,
away,
Mike?
please.
No,
George, I hope George is watching
You've got
now.
to get
He'll be
off
He's
his
inspired me, George.
He has
Yeah,
inspired
absolutely.
you. Matt, you're going to rescue Mike?
Yeah, no, keep going. No, yeah, we'll do. Anyway, let's do with the weather, shall we? Yeah, very good morning to if you've been with me all morning, you'll know I've been promising something bright. It's now starting to show its hand. There you go, in South Lanarkshire in the south of Scotland. For many, though, it's still pretty grey across southern and eastern areas. Pretty grim scene at Hastings Pier at the moment on the south coast. Very windy too through the English Channel, and quite windy across many southern and western areas throughout. But given the fact we saw rain throughout the UK overnight. Flood warnings have continued to rise. All the latest details on the BBC Weather website. BBC Local Radio, if you're on the move, you can find your local station on BBC Sounds.